says I went live 1 second ago. For you guys out there that have been invited, hopefully you can hear me. If you can't, let me know. It's the Me and Him show. It's me and Tony. Again, keep your prayers going for Rod. You know, he's got a health situation at home that's pretty serious. So we want to make sure we're always
hope he's okay, man.
sending positive vibes, guys. You know, we talk about a lot of things. There's nothing more important than family, and nothing hurts more than when something's going on with our families, whether it's physical, emotional, mental. And so keep those prayers going, man. Positive draws positive. We talk about universal concepts, and whatever we put out into the universe is what we get back. So let's put out positivity, some prayers for Rod, his wife, his family, for all of us. Amen. For all of us. You know, we need to stop this fighting with each other, man. They're out there trying to keep us apart. You know, it's not only Satan, you know, versus God. You know, it's the government versus us. It's mad at each other. You know, let's hate each other. Let's be mad at each other. You know, hate crimes. All crimes are out of hate. You know, you think about it. Think about this, guys. If you rob a bank, do you know why you're robbing a bank? Deep down inside, you hate the fact that they have and you don't. That's what it boils down. In everybody's head, when they rob a bank, their mentality is, well, they got tons of it and I don't. And I'm
insured.
Yeah, they're all hate crimes. You don't slap somebody you like or love. You don't rob somebody you like or love. You know, even if it's necessity, your mind is, oh, well, why do they have and I don't? Well, maybe because you're a crackhead and they work every day. But when something is taken from you or someone is taken from you, it's because of hate. Jealousy is hatred of your success. So all crimes are hate crimes, you know, a crime of passion, a crime of this. They're all hate crimes, man. So now, if you commit a crime that should be considered normal, oh, well, it's a hate crime because it was against a black guy. Well, I didn't slap him because he was black, or I didn't slap him because he was Jewish or Muslim. I slapped him because he was an asshole, right?
I touched him back.
Yeah, I just do better touching. I graduated, you know, magna cum laude of touching, or summa, whichever one's the higher one. I don't know. Is summa higher than magna? Which is the highest one?
I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't tell you.
I think
Because
because magna sounds to me like it's the bigger one, but because I'm thinking that, I'm almost sure it's the other one because I knew I was always confused. Like sumo, lo más sumo, algo sumo is maximum, but magna just could mean of great magnitude. Anyway, you guys out there that know, you smart guys, whatever it is, that's what I am. So I'm either magna martial artist or summa martial artist. You guys put it in there.
The top one.
Yeah, the top one, the Mac Daddy. So that mindset is important. And again, this is not just blabbing, because like I said, with this mindset, when you're fighting for family, when you're fighting for love, you know, when you can do the meanest, nastiest things, you do those out of love, not hate, because you're looking to defeat that person in front of you because you want to, like I said, you want to preserve. I want to go in there the way I went out. I want to be able to go to work tomorrow and make $5,000, not make $2,000 because I only got one leg. No pun intended, right? So I'm preserving. So to preserve, you've got to have love. Hate is not, you know, about winning fights. Love is about winning fights because you're winning so you can get home the right way. You know what I'm saying? And that's why when people say, oh, he's fighting this guy or he's fighting that guy, you know, well, he beat that guy's ass because he's fighting, I don't know, whatever the hell. When you fight for something, not against, right? So people say, oh, it's, you know, Tyson against Holyfield, right? So he's fighting against Holyfield. I never fight against anyone. I fight for something, not against someone or something. And that's, again, yeah, the mindset, you know, right? It's not, I'm not looking to fight against. It's not me versus him. It's me versus the universe, me versus me. Me bettering myself every day, going into the ring, leaving better, going into the world, leaving better. I wake up on Monday, hopefully by Friday I'm doing better than I was on Monday, especially Friday's payday. If you get paid every other week, then there's one good Friday, one shit Friday.
Exactly.
But that's the important thing. You should not be fighting against someone or something. You're fighting for someone or something. You're fighting for yourself. You're fighting for your family. You're not fighting against the guy in front of you, right? So if you just, again, it's the same thing. You're still depending on who you ask, oh, it's Pedro against or Pedro for. It's the same thing. No matter if I'm fighting Mike Tyson, I'm fighting against Mike Tyson, or I'm fighting for Mike's title. Same thing. But again, is the glass half empty or half full? But what happens is people just keep repeating the same thing. Oh yeah, the glass is half empty or half full. Half of the people that repeat it are just repeating it because they heard it a million times. And they have no idea. And truthfully, I believe in anything. It's not just in what I do. These concepts, these beliefs, put into anything will make you the best at what it is you put them into. Whether it's your relationship, whether it's your job, your career. You know, not every job is a career. Some people don't have jobs or careers. They have their own business. They're entrepreneurs, business owners, philanthropists. I really don't even know what that is, but I know it's got to do with you do your own damn thing.
Throwing money away.
You know? You do your own thing and you got enough to do whatever you want, right? And that's the other thing. You want to be able to have a life to where you don't have to go to bed at a certain time and wake up at a certain time. You can go to bed at 3 in the morning because you get up when you get up. You know, alarm clocks aren't good for you. We already spoke about that. They jolt you out of a sleep. It's not good for your nervous system at all. Alarm clocks are not good. I don't know anybody whose alarm clock goes off and they just out of sleep. They get a buzz.
Get up.
Yeah, right? It's bzz, bzz, and you get that jolt. Your heart jumps. It's like a mini little heart attack. So that's one of the goals in life. To be able to go to bed whenever the hell you want and get up whenever the hell you want. And get up in the morning and do.
I can get more than 5 hours of sleep.
5 hours?
Life,
yeah, that's where I'm rolling. 4 to 5.
I
4 to,
sleep in
and they're not
I'm up at
straight.
5, bro.
And they're not straight. I'll sleep an hour and a half. I'm awake.
No, bro.
I'm
I
awake.
can't even sleep during the day. I went home to nap today because it's a long day.
Yeah.
And
Well, you got to go back to work till what? 9, 10?
no. I just left around 3, tried to give me an hour or 2 hours nap before I came here, but I couldn't sleep. I just can't
Yeah.
sleep. Maybe it's caffeine. I don't know.
Yeah. So once you have that right mentality, it makes everything. You saw new bag,
I love it.
banana bag.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter how tall you are, you can kick this thing. I don't know. We should hang up the other one. Where the big? Okay. The problem with these things, and not problems. My Wing Chun instructor would not hold pads for me, because on uppercuts, which is my most vicious shot, I would do this, and his hand would go like this, and his shoulder would hurt. Whenever you do this, you got to stop it if you don't want your hand. So you're either putting pressure forward, so punch, right? So putting that pressure or punch, I let that happen. They're both bad. And you're hitting this huge target, right? With pool noodles, it's the same thing. You know, once we start training mitts, people think training mitts is training mitts. There's a science to training mitts. Let's go ahead and grab the mitts then instead of doing it the other way. So the way mitt work is supposed to work, if you could train somebody to mitt train for you or hold, they call it holding the mitts, right? You're always going across, which I don't like, right? You'll always see guys holding it, and that's jab, so put this foot a little more forward, right? Jab, cross. Cross is going to do it again. Jab, see, it's here. Cross, it's here. So you're getting used to doing this, which is not good, right? You're hitting here, boom, I'm getting impact, 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 right? Let's do uppercuts, boom, boom, and I'm getting all this. It's not good, right? And you're hitting a big target, which is cool because that's about the size of a head. But anybody who follows baseball knows. I don't follow baseball, but my son follows every sport, so I learn all this useless information. It was here and the cross goes here, right? So his right to my left, his left to my right, right? This is my right. That's his right. So his right is coming across my left. His left comes across to my, well, that's his right. So left to my left, across. Right to my right, across. Left, right. Left, right. But if I say left, right, people get confused. So you're just going across, which is technically not good. When I'm holding this, right, if I go here, if I'm too close, that could happen, right? If I hold them out here, it doesn't feel right. So what you do is you take the pool noodles, if they're about this long and you're holding them down here. That tip of the pool noodle, I could tip it and it could be here. So I could stand here, and when I do this, boom, you hit it, but look where you're hitting it, where you're supposed to. So you'd go jab, cross, right? And after you do that, hook, hook. And I'm aiming it, and so now basically you're aiming at that moving target, which is only that big because it's a pool noodle. And at the dollar store, you can make 2 of these things for $1.25. Because in the history of the dollar store, has it not been $1, but thanks to our new administration, the dollar store is now $1.25. In 56 years, it was everything was $1. So now, because obviously, what did you think they were doing? they'd have to get crappier and crappier stuff. You know, a nickel worse in workmanship, and then another nickel, another. But it got to a point where it's like, listen, this guy's so bad, I gotta jack him. We can't get anything shittier. Yeah, $1.25, baby, 25%, 25% increase. That's hard. But again, you know, but that's the last administration's fault. That's how it works. The last guy gets blamed for what happens.
Always.
Which makes no sense. It's like the new boss gets blamed for the old boss. No, the reason the new boss is in because you didn't like the old boss. Don't go saying it's the old boss. And everybody says the same thing. Oh, it takes time for that stuff to kick in. Bullshit. How is it that when the pipeline was open, boom, gas prices were down. As soon as the pipeline was closed, boom, gas prices were up. It took a couple of months. So now because of the closed pipeline is why the gas prices went up from when he opened it 4 years ago. Because that's when he opened it as soon as he got in. So it took 4 years for the... Again, that's why I love everybody, because you can think whatever you want, but what makes sense? Then don't ask me how I got to be as great as I am as what I am, because I pay attention, right? If you want to be bamboozled religiously, politically, you know, all this other stuff, hey, have at it. But sit, man, sit on that soapbox, look in the mirror and ask yourself, really, who's out there to help you? How is it that public servants are all worth tenfold? All of them go in, and when they leave, they have 10 times more wealth. Oh, well, that's because they write books, and, you know, Obama wrote a bunch of books. Who the hell wants to read what he has to say? Let's be honest. He sold about as many books as real writers who write stuff like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, which is trash, but on both ends it is. You really think the shit he wrote in there, that's a pseudo. It's like, here, write that for me, put my name on it. You're not that intelligent, bro. But anyway, you say that, people get all frazzled and pissed. How is it? And the only guy that went in and is now broker than he was than when he went in was fucking Trump. Trump went in and his net worth went down after he left. And of course, everything, conspiracy. Guys, just sit down. Like I said, I don't give a damn about Trump. He's a billionaire. I don't give a damn about Obama. He's a millionaire. I don't give a shit about Oprah. She's a millionaire. What I'm telling you is they're not looking out for you guys. You keep voting and saying they're not looking out for you. And all these martial arts, they're not looking out for you either. They've been telling you this shit for years. Oh, this is Indonesian. So in Indonesia is the only place where your wrist twists like this. In Indonesia, if I cut you here, you bleed out. Not in Japan, though. In Japan, I got to cut you here to bleed out. Or in China, I got to... Bro, this stuff doesn't belong to anybody. You've been bullshit. Religion has done it to you. So don't just think it's politics, guys. Don't say I'm on a rant, because I'm going to rant about religion, too. Religion's been doing it to us forever. They got us confused. No one can guarantee you. Faith, that's why they call it blind. You can't guarantee me. Because how can it be that you're going to guarantee me and people say the only way is through Jesus Christ? If you ask a Christian, I don't care what Tony says, he's wrong. It's through Jesus. And they'll swear to God, excuse my French. Nobody can guarantee it, man. You can have the biggest feeling that says, no, I know in my heart. Go to court with that and see how it's going to pan out for you. I know in my heart, that I didn't steal that money. Unfortunately, the fingerprints that we dusted from your car, your house, your girlfriend's house, say different, right? It's not what you know, it's what you can prove, right? And we can't prove any of it. What I find hard to believe, for all my everything friends, is that I will never again, spiritually, ball of whatever, energy, will never connect again once we're all gone with you, because I'm Christian and you're Muslim, or because I'm Muslim, because that's where I'm at. Since I met you, bro, you got me so confused. I'm not Christian or Muslim, bro. I swear to God, I'm Muslim. It doesn't even exist. Or
A lot of people.
Chrislam. I'm Chrislam. Well, what is that? Christian Muslim. What? Yeah. So I'm never going to see my Buddhist friends. I'm never going to see my Muslim friends. I'm never going to see anybody who doesn't believe in what supposedly I'm supposed to believe in, which is Christ, or Muhammad, or Buddha, or I don't know. I don't think Confucius was God, but there's people that actually that's their religion, Confucianism. I mean, I didn't know he was a god of some type. How does that work?
No, he's a human. Well, the verse reads, "A day in which you will have no benefit from your wealth nor from your offspring, except those who appear before Allah, before God, with a clear and sound heart." That's what he's looking for. He's not looking for how you got there. He's looking at you had a clear and sound heart. By that I mean it was void of envy and animosity and greed and jealousy and ego and pride throughout your life. You were just humble, but you were a good, decent human being. And from wherever, of all those different peoples you just mentioned, man, those are going to be, that's what I believe, that out of all of those people, the people that were just genuinely good people, no matter what your background was, I think those are the ones that are going to be.
I'm going to give my feel and look on this, and believe me, it ties into the martial arts guys. Believe me, if you've been watching me for a year or 2 or 5, you know that there's always a method to my madness. And if you don't believe there is, there's always Krav Maga and Taekwondo, guys. And I'll love you no less. Me love you long time. My feeling is this when I go, especially when I'm sitting and I'm watching the little old lady with the pretty little hat, looking at another little old lady walk in and say, look at what she's wearing. So you're in the house of God talking bad about somebody else. Yeah. You usually go there and it's packed. What we call the blue hairs, the ones that directly from there go to brunch and then by 3 they're in bed. So you're 80 plus years old. I'm thinking, and I understand maybe they do have a pure heart, but I'm looking at it like, okay, you're 80 now. You know it's close to checkout time, man. It's last call at the bar. You know it. And now all of a sudden you're religious. You were a tramp. You had 4 husbands. Nothing wrong with getting married 4 times. I'm not saying, but I just always wonder, why are churches always full of old folk that are about to check out? How is it, I don't know if you've noticed the same thing, again, that's why I'm giving my side first, that everybody, Tyson found Allah, everybody finds Jesus or religion in jail. But it's not in their time of need. It's in their time of desperation. They've needed him all along. You know what? They needed him before they got thrown in jail. Why did they find him when they got there? They didn't need him there. They needed him when they were out here. If you think about it, to me, you need him here.
The poor, the sick, and the suffering are the ones that are closest to God.
But the people in jail aren't suffering, bro. They get 4 squares. They smoke a cigarette whenever they want to have a gym. They have a TV. They live better than I do. The cable at my house sucks. Yeah, well, me too. Well, me too.
Suffering up in there.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So there's my question, though, to all my friends that think they have the answer. I mean, you may have the answer, but don't think the answer is written in a book. Don't think the answer is gospel, you know, because some prophet told it to you, or some senator, or some congressman, or some governor, and then he got your vote, and then you find yourself constantly making excuses on why he's not doing what you voted him in to do. You know, oh, well, the other guy's not letting him. Yeah. 6 terms in a row? You know, they're not out there to help us, guys. They're not. And that's cool.
Public servant is a self-servant.
Yeah, self-servants. That's why, let me be a self-servant. Exactly. You know, let me do my thing. Get out of my life. Stop being so overbearing. I can handle this. You know, but the weak will try to say, no, we need them for this. No, that's because you're weak. You can't admit you're weak and you're a pansy and you need to be held by the hand. I don't need any of it, man. I could live like cavemen did. Maybe you can't. But back when
I'd love to.
And fall for the fancy and the flashy, okay? None of that makes sense when you look at it this way. How are you going to hit me twice and I'm in the same exact spot? 3 times and I'm in the same exact spot. So every video you watch and you believe, because this guy's got a lot of books and he hits this guy, or obviously he's simulating. That's why the guy's not moving. Okay, that's your excuse. So if I simulate hitting you, why am I simulating the second one? Why don't I simulate the second one from a different position to where he would have been?
Where you would normally be.
Yeah, because if I crack you and you're in the same spot, what really makes you think the second one's going to do jack shit? Right? Like your parents. Let's say I buy you the first car. Day 1, you crash that puppy. I guarantee you, no matter how cool we are, we're going to be hesitant on that second one.
How wealthy they were.
Now, if I buy you a second one and you crash it, you ain't getting a third, man. You are not. Nobody's going to fall for that. So how is it that you believe that I'm going to hit you the first time, it's not going to do anything, but the second time and third time and fourth are? No. Or you're making poor choices at the beginning, so you still need to train with me to understand that you need to prioritize your shots. You got to hit him with your best first and then keep hitting him. Why would you start with your, let's say you had 5 best, 1 through 5. Why would you start with 3, 4, or 5? Why do we always start with our best? We send in, the front line aren't our schmucks. Those aren't the guys we send in. We send in our good guys. We send in the guys that know what the hell they're doing. Espionage kind of, our special forces. You don't send in schmucks that got 2 days in. It's just not the way it is. So why is it? So when we're doing our techniques, what I explain to you is understand. That's why I want you to flow. And that's why I always use the one, walk or march. Walk, walk, walk. Get used to that. So when I get that first shot, boom, and I poke you in the eye, the second you move, boom, right? You're here and I can get to here and you're here, boom, and I'm moving. Let's say you keep going. Just take a couple of steps back. I got to be able to hit, headbutt, boom, bang, right? You keep stepping back. There's the other. Boom, there's the cup. I've got to keep moving. So when we're doing these drills, that's why it's important to say to yourself, cup to the ear, march, run the table.
Literally,
if you're in a
it's
neighborhood,
like
say hello.
Daily, man, is what are my shots?
You've
What
got
are
to,
my
because
shots?
that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because when people say, well, what you're teaching is bullshit because you guys don't spar enough. Well, again, it's the same thing. I can't poke you in the eye when we spar. I can't chop you in the throat when we spar. Just like the marksman can't shoot people in the heart in training. But if you do what I say, which people, well, that's silly. I'm uncomfortable. You've got to say when you're doing, just poke to the eye, smack to the ear, thumb the eyes, elbow, hit the knee, march, keep moving. When you're in the neighborhood, say hello. You're saying all these things. It's going to stick in your head. Exactly. Why is it? Because we say our kids' names so much that we get confused. I don't know about you, but I call my kids by the wrong name 5 times a week. I'm like, because I'm trying to say Jasmine, Marissa, Gian. My head is going. I call my brother by my son's name constantly and vice versa in front of me. They will be in front of me. And I'll tell my brother, I said Robert said instead of G. So G's standing right here. I'm talking to Robert trying to say he said, and I'm like, Robert said, and he's like, I'm Robert, asshole. And I'm like, because he can't, he's like me. He's got a filthy mouth. So they're both in front of me and I'm calling this guy by this guy's name and they're right there. So it's not like I'm confused. I haven't seen one in years. So your mind, if you don't tell yourself these things over and over, and that still doesn't mean you're not going to get confused, but if you don't do it this way, you're going to get even more confused. It's like calling your shots. There's some games in pool where you got to call the shot. You can sink the ball. If you don't sink it, your hand does this. Poke the eye. Every time your hand does this part, you're not thinking poke the eye. Every time your hand does this one, you're not thinking poke the eye. There's something wrong with you. One step further, or furthermore, like they like to say. Every single time you think poke the eye, say poke the eye. Think poke the eye, say poke the eye. Think poke the eye, say poke the eye. And if there's any little bit of neutral space or time in your head, you're thinking about your next shot.
And with the other hand,
say the same thing. Thumb his eye, cup his ear, crash on his elbow. Crash on his collarbone, right? Pop off the ear, thumb that eye again, crash into the sternum, go back to the neck, double shot, then hit here. Now that his mind is upstairs, but that's the good thing about doing these things so fast. You don't have to do just 1 or 2. You can get away with 3 or 4 before they're wise to it. If you're just doing this, they're going to be wise to it by the second one, that you're a headhunter, right? Yeah. If I hit you 5 times, because I'm telling you, for you to do this and this is just as quick as me to do 4 in the time you're going to do. So I'm going to be twice as fast. And I'm going to hit you with twice as many. So by the time you get wise to it, you've already been hit enough times to where at least you're a little wobbly, or your vision is blurry, or you can't hear, or your equilibrium's all over the place, or a bunch of other things. But on top of that, I'm going to the next thing and then the next thing and then the next thing. So you're never going to have time to launch your attack or defend, because you're going to immediately be in that, not defensive, but survival mode, survival position. But it will not happen. It won't. I'm telling you, I've done this 50 years almost. Well, big lie. I'm only 55. 43 years. Okay? 43 and 13, 50. Yeah, 43 years. If you're not, it's like incantations. It's visualizations and incantations. Visualizations and incantations. Visualizations, just like put yourself in that happy place. You're visualizing. When people walk on coal, they do it. They're visualizing. They'll tell them, cool moss, thinking cool moss. They're visualizing. They're walking on something cool, not hot coals. And they're saying it to themselves. Maybe in a low voice, maybe in their head. But it's always out loud. You'll hear, for many years I heard, whether it's true or not, I don't know. Works for me. If I read out loud, my comprehension is better than when I read just to myself. In school, obviously, you got to read to yourself, because 50 people reading out loud, it becomes a shit show. But for me, when I read out loud, and then for me, when I read out loud, and then I just pick a couple of words and write them down, especially the ones I want to highlight, to me, as opposed to highlighting like some people do, if I read out loud and I highlight, I got to go back to it. If I read out loud and jot down some key points of, in a straight lead, right? I'll put straight lead, because that's the main thing. I'll read, let's say, 7 or 8 more words. right? And it'll talk about out as fast as you come back or out faster than you come back. Boom, bang, right? I put key points. But if I write them down, they stick in my head more than if I just read them. If I read them out loud, they stick a little bit better. If I read it out loud and jot down some key points, it sticks even more. Each person is different, and that's why I tell people, but you have to do those things, whether it is reading out loud or taking notes. Some people, if you absorb the same just reading to yourself, cool. If you absorb just the same saying to yourself, poke to the eye, poke to the eye, poke to the eye, something like up the ear, and just saying it low or just saying it in your head, cool. But try it. Try the different ways. That's how people find out what kind of a learner they are. People don't know that they're visual, auditory, or kinesthetic learner until they do know, right? There's a day in your life that you have no idea what type of learner you are. And then there's a day where you do, correct? Everything in between was the process, so trust the process, of you figuring out what type of learner you are. As an instructor, watching you, and after X amount of months, obviously it's going to take me longer. You should know better than I because you're your own learning process, right? I got to know 30 or 40 or 50, or if I go to a seminar and I go year after year, and there's different people. I have students, I have hundreds of students, and I know all of their learning patterns. I know how G learns, I know how Joe learns, I know how Wes learns. That's why when I talk to him, he'll tell you, wow, this guy's amazing. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. You can ask him, Wes will tell you. And he's right, I am amazing. But that's because I take the time to understand. I know how he learns because I know his past, because I know what he's trained in, because I know of his judo, and I know of his taekwondo, and I know who and what he's done. And I take the time to understand him. I know what you do. I know that you're not hanging out at bars, but I know your temperament. And I know the chances of you doing something to somebody are pretty high. So I got to make sure that your mind is right. I know you're a very spiritual man. So now that's going to help you when that boiling point comes that you want to pop the guy's head off like a Pez dispenser, and you're going to be like, let me back down. A little. Because you're not going to back off, just down. Down doesn't mean you're going to the basement. Just from the penthouse, you may go down to the 26th floor. You're still going to get a smack to the mouth, but I'm not going to take your eye out. Huh? Right? Allah won't look at that as bad. He's like, oh, he just cracked him in the lip. He's got a little bit of a fat lip. But you're going to know not to do it again. Because otherwise, there's going to be, there's got to be consequences. If there's no consequences,
treat you the way you train them to treat you.
it's like people say, treat people a certain way so they'll treat you that way. That's not the way it is. You will get more times than not, like you said, more times than not, people will treat you like you let them treat you more than the way you treat them. Because just because you're nice to somebody doesn't mean they're going to be nice to you. And if you're nice to them and they're not nice to you, and you put a kibosh on it, then it's not really they treated you the way you treated them. They treated you where you pumped the brakes and said, you're not going to disrespect me, punk. Had nothing to do with you were nice to him. You didn't disrespect him. You didn't treat him like a punk. Yet he kept treating you like that. So people will, every government, every country has the government it deserves. Every person has had their life happen to them because that's what they let happen. They let it happen to them. We were all raised the same in my house. None of us had a golden spoon or a silver spoon. Nobody got college and the other one didn't. No one got a trust fund and the other one didn't. And we all couldn't have been any different. Spiritually, same thing. My father didn't say, you, you're going to be Muslim. This is the church you go to. You, Buddhist. This is the church. We all did the same thing. Went to the same mass or whatever they call it, service. All of us. It's not like one went, Southern Baptist. Then one went across town to Jehovah's Witness. So how did you turn out so different? Man, life experiences, what do you do with them? How are you going to take it? Oh, I'm going to let somebody just climb all over me? Can't do it. So every single time your hands are moving, you're picturing what it is that you're doing. Because we don't do it for any other reason. So if I'm moving, I'm thinking of where on you is my destination? Where on you is my destination? And am I going to take a bus there, a jet there, a truck there, a submarine there? That's it. So it's a destination and a vehicle. A destination and a vehicle. Or a target and a tool. A target and a tool. Am I going to hit you in the throat with my fist, in the eye with my finger, in the ear with my palm, on your eye with my thumb? That's all you're thinking. Where on you with what on me? Where on you with what on me? And I run those scenarios in my damn head daily. They don't want to listen. Every second you waste, because that's what it is on TikTok, just go onto Chinese TikTok, and then on ours, and you will not see any scantily dressed women. You will not see anything that's not brain related, smart kind of stuff. You're like, wow, this is odd. No, to them, seeing what we do is odd. So spend your time as you wish, but then don't be like, wow, you're so gifted, you're so lucky, God gave you. Same thing. God gave me what I accepted. He didn't hand me something. He said, yo, here's something. And I was like, all right, looks pretty, yeah, I'm going to take that. If I wouldn't have done that, it just would have sat in his hand. And then he would have put another one there, and he would have had a handful of things that were gifted to me, but I didn't accept them. Just like the people you accept into your life. Exactly. So you're going to be in a world of shit going on YouTube learning 800 techniques that make absolutely no sense, and then they won't work. And then the next video you watch is why Wing Chun trapping doesn't work. So now you're 2 videos in, so you're twice the moron. You weren't a moron only because you went on there the first time. Now you're too deep, and you haven't learned a damn thing. Now, you don't even go to the 3rd one, but that time that would have been for the 3rd one, you just spend being confused from the first 2. So whatever this was, 5 minutes plus 5 minutes of confusion. You've just wasted 5 minutes of your life. Now guess what the next 5 got to be? Just unconfusing yourself. Just to go back to where you were. To be neutral again. Not to be bewildered. So you wasted 20 minutes. 5 of stupidity, 5 more of stupidity, another 5 of confusion, and then 5 of fixing it once you found my video. So you can start. And they won't see it. And why? What happens? Since they're not 5 and 5 in, right? They're 25 hours, 25 hours, 25 hours. Now they don't want to go back to the beginning. So they'll keep doing that. Looking for the mysterious, demock, kill punch. Guys, this shit doesn't exist. Looking for the perfect system, looking for the perfect country. Oh, this stuff here, this Burmese system. Yeah, Lethway is badass. Badass. Headbutts, knees, and elbows. That can only be thrown in the same amount of ways in any system. Now, if you're a rugged, crazy SOB, which if I showed that system to somebody in Texas, some of them cowboys are pretty badass. If I showed it to some of these Silicon Valley bozos, they wouldn't know what to do with it. So that baddest system, depends. You teach it to some of these corn-fed Wisconsin boys that are 6'2", 240, and now they know how to do vicious headbutts, knees, and elbows. That guy from Silicon Valley, no matter how badass he thinks he is, because he's going, get it in your head. Cappuccinos, frappuccinos, anything that ends in chino, even Al Pacino, you're going to be ass out. Do as you wish. But there's the situation. All that time spent of nothingness, and then you get somewhere, and you got nothing done, and then you just keep going back. It's digressing to Lethway. It's a Burmese system. But anybody who can throw headbutts, knees, and elbows, and be a vicious asshole, and not wrap their hands and just bare knuckle fight, you either have attributes or you don't. I could teach a nerd on the planet, and he'll never do shit with it, and I could teach it to a very athletic, high attribute level person, and they're going to be pretty badass. But it's not that I taught them Burmese Lethway. That's the sport. Or that's what they know it as, because you got to label it something. I mean, I can't just say, hey, go hit the thing. I got to name it a bag. Oh, that's Italian leather. Dude, leather is freaking leather, bro. Leather is leather. Yeah, maybe for your jacket, you want to have a Brutini, or whoever. When I just start chopping these lines down, and there's no faster way to get to here, there's no quicker place to hit than, let's say, with this pinky back to this eye, boom, boom, and then thumb here, and then grab your ear and pull it, boom, and then hit here, right? And I'm doing all these things. You can't tell me, even if I name it, Pedro Do or Pedro Jitsu. I could say it's from the Bronx, because that's where I was born. I could say it's the system from Puerto Rico, because that's my descendancy or my heritage or my race, which that's not a race, but let's just say, right? I can name it whatever I want. Bodhijitsu, give it a cool name. But again, it's just because I want to say, hey, ooh, I named it, I made it. I didn't make shit. You just figure out, it's math. He doesn't read them and say, what the hell is this shit? Who did this, a child? This is not structurally sound. This had no load-bearing walls, blah, 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 right? So it's got to be functional, right? And then, of course, it's got to be practical. You're not going to bring a blueprints on slabs of rock, right? It's still blueprints, right? Perfect, even if you laser etch them. But you can't bring somebody, because blueprints are usually what? 10, 12 pages, maybe more, Let's say 10, minimum. So you're going to bring 10 slabs of Flintstone to this lady. Come on, people, see what I'm saying? And, oh, what the fuck is wrong with you, Rodriguez? You're crazy. All right, then go eat shit and go do something else. I don't want to hear it. It just makes no sense. to do these stupid things. They're not functional. They're not practical. I'm looking at the destination, right? Boom, there's where I got to get, and the vehicle. There's the target. Where's the tool? Because this is what they are. They're just tools on this drill bit. It's going to be fingers. It's going to be thumbs. It's going to be cups. It's going to be back of the hand, spear hand, whatever you want to call it. You know, tiger's mouth. They got all kinds of damn names. Eagle claw. And none of them look. You go like this and then look at an eagle's claws and you're like, some people call it bear paw. And you look at your hand and a bear's paw, and the bear, literally, if the bear could speak, the bear would look at you and be like, bitch, put that thing down. Put a bear, what? I'm going to slap as a matter of fact, I'm not even going to slap you. I'm going to wipe your ass. I'm going to wipe my ass with you. It's not a bear paw. It's not an eagle claw. And then, you know, these systems, you know, where they go, oh, praying mantis. Look at the praying mantis and then look at this stupidity we do. And you're like, that looks nothing like a praying mantis's leg. Yeah, because they're not built like us. And we can't fight like them. And nothing about us like cat. Any cat style. You know how fast a cat is? There's nobody as fast as a fucking cat, man. Nobody. So we're trying to emulate all these stupid things. And yeah, it's fun. It's cool. The uniforms, nice patches. I get it. I understand. I'm not saying I don't. And I'll understand that you won't understand. I get it. I understand that too. But if you want to learn how to fight, you can't look at it as a fight. They're fighting. You're not. You're just getting a job done, right? Again, it's not me against you. It's me for something. I stand for something, right? And I'm doing it for someone, whether it's myself or someone else. I'm not fighting for my country. Let my country fight for itself. I got other shit I got to do. My country's not paying my electric bill. You know, my state, my community, nobody's paying for it. I don't have my neighbors say, hey, yo, Pete, I see things are a little hard. Here's a 50. Right? I got friends that help me. I'm not being a total asshole. They're cool. Hey, pay, boom, let me help you out. Pay more than they should, pay early, pay. I get it. I got a lot of people that love me and help me. But what I'm saying is none of them are government, you know, none of them are county. And if you can take that mentality instead of thinking technique A, technique B, technique 1, technique 2, you're going to be way ahead of the game. Because it's been years since I don't have a problem. I don't even know what one of those damn things is. A problem, I give them and solve them. Only two things I do with problems. I don't know, oh man, I got this problem. Nope. I'm going to sit here in my head and figure it out. So I'm going to solve it. I'm give them a fucking problem. You want to run your mouth? You're going to have some problems. And that's the way you look at these things. And every single target is so easy to attain. It's very easy. You're just going to lure them in. Let's say, for instance, you're there, and I don't want to fight you, right? And I step back, and you step forward. And I step back, and you step forward. Obviously, you don't give a shit what I want. I don't want to fight. I'm going that way, but you're going this way. So now that's got to leave my mind. If you're coming forward, boom, you're the aggressor, and I poke you in the eye. So I back out, do this. Doesn't matter. Let's say there's no audio, but there's definitely video. And they see this, and then this, and then one more, this. You didn't have a choice. You went like this, then you backed up and went like this, then you backed up again, according to the camera. But boom, you're going to get, because already your mindset's going to be, this dude's a punk.
This dude's afraid, I'm just going to intimidate.
Yeah, especially if the hands go out. And then boom, then you go for the eyes. And then you decide, if you're going to keep coming forward, then the party begins. Then nothing goes into your mind. Nothing. Not, oh shit, now it's on. No,
you got to take it.
That's it.
Something soft, something hard.
Once you go forward, all you're thinking about is targets and tools, targets and tools, targets and tools, till he's no longer a threat, and then you just boogie about your way. Then again, do you call the police? Depends on how hurt he is. You go far away from the situation, call the police. 911, what's your emergency? I was just attacked. I was forced to defend myself. I need you to send an ambulance for him because I don't know his situation. And yes, please send one for me also. I'm not doing well. Oh, okay, that's it. You're not going to say shit else. Mentally, emotionally. 911 calls are the only calls that you don't have to subpoena. They don't have to tell you this is a recorded line. 911 calls are admissible in court. End of story. So, you call the police. Where are you? I'm over here because I had to get away from the situation. I'm no longer at the scene. You know, he's there. He may be hurt. He may have been hurt. Never say I hurt him. I killed him. No. He may have been hurt. Please send an ambulance. Corner of Jefferson and Thompson at the 7-Eleven. Sir, are you still on this? No, ma'am. I'm 2 blocks away, bop, 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 bop. Didn't want the situation to get any more altered. Please send him an ambulance and me one also. By law, they cannot refuse you medical attention. So by the time any of that is happening, you wait for the ambulance gets there, everything is calmed down, and then you don't say something stupid. Yeah, that SOB, he asked me for my wallet, so I stuck the knife as far as I could up his... Once everything goes down, maybe even had a chance to make a phone call, say, yo, Tone, I just got to, listen, Pete, chill, deep breath. You got to trust in your, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. Thanks, Tone. Boom, hang up. Go to the hospital, get with it, and then by the time you give your report, which they cannot deny you all that time, as long as it takes. I've never seen somebody go to the emergency room and be out in 10 minutes. Doesn't fucking happen. Takes them 10 minutes just to go to triage. All right, sir. Let's take your temperature. Yeah. Okay. A little blood pressure. Okay. Dizzy? Any pain? Oh yeah, my head hurts a little bit. Is it a pulsing pain? Is it a throbbing pain? Is it a sharp pain? I'm like, I don't know, bitch, it hurts. What do you mean? It's going boom, boom in my head, and I don't like it. But that's how these things have to happen. And if you don't tell yourself that all the time, you're going to get in a fight, everything seems to go right, you're going to be pissed off, you feel that you were standing up for your rights, and you're going to say some bullshit and end up in a court. And maybe lose. And if not going to jail, which is not a big deal, then you end up, let's say, spending $5 grand on a lawyer. Judge is a little bit of an asshole, hates, martial arts because he did taekwondo as a kid and got his ass kicked at every tournament because he's a little bitch. So now he's pissed at you because you're a martial artist. Now he makes you, just to be a dick, you're going to pay half his court costs. And maybe half his, fuck it,
You have to disclose that you know martial arts or you've been studying.
Yes. And if you don't, you're screwed. Because the best thing to do, here's what I tell people, which is another thing that Krav and all these other morons don't tell you. The first thing you want to do is say, yes, I do martial arts. And the second thing, because you should know your laws, is state the law, the statute that says that we're a stand your ground state, country, whatever the fuck. And you had the right to defend yourself with bodily harm, or if it was up this high, lethal force. But you have always been trained to go here instead of here. And that's why it's called levels of de-escalation. It started here, Your Honor. I brought it down to here. He stayed here. I only brought it up to here, just to diffuse the situation. Because my job is not to hurt him, even though he's trying to kill me. My job is not trying to kill him, even though he's trying to kill me. My job, as a God-fearing, spiritual man and martial artist, is to keep him from doing any of the above to me. That's it. So I could have gone here, sir. Legally had the right to, but I chose to be here. Boom. This is the kind of shit, bro. What jury, right? That's why you always want to do jury. Never judge. Judges, you could be screwed. 12 meatloafs, there's no damn way. Listen, remember, these are 12 people who couldn't figure out how to get out of jury duty. They're not the sharpest, okay? And if not, right, they're thinking the $2.50 a day is good money. In either case, these are not rocket scientists. These guys are not going to be working at Microsoft and NASA anytime soon. Very easy to look over and make the right comments to where you have them doing this, like the doggy in the, on your dashboard. And you're in, bro. You're in. It's not that difficult. So the whole thing, from either not fighting to getting to court to winning and going home with nothing bad happening, is super simple, man. The whole court thing, that's another one. People just do the dumb shit. Tyson, his first problem was he picked the wrong lawyer. He got a lawyer that had never tried a rape case. Who does that? Especially with his kind of money. You would get yeah. His lawyer had never tried a rape case. As a matter of fact, I think he was a real estate attorney. One of the best in the county. He bought 3 houses from the guy. I'm being facetious now. But yeah, the guy had like zero. He knew about as much as rape cases as he did about the stars on that bag. Yeah, people just do dumb shit. And that's, like I said, it's choices and the process, and trust the process. YouTube is not the process. TikTok is not the process. Scantily dressed chicks instead of martial arts is not the process. Because when they start banging or knocking on your door and just swinging it open or kicking it, whatever they do coming through that door, and you don't know what the piss you're doing, and you start to panic, there's no redo, man. Think about this as ice, okay? Or worse, you know what black ice is? Black ice. That's that ice that's just so clear it looks like tar. You can't tell it's there. And you just hit your brakes and, yeah, they call it black ice. You hit the brakes on ice. I don't know if you've ever slid. I'm talking about slide. You go 6 different ways before you get it to go the right way. And sometimes the wall is the only way. You end up hitting that puppy. So once you hit those brakes, man, think about how scary, regardless of how it ends up, think about how scary those X amount of minutes are going to be while you're in that fight. That's not good, man. That's not good. You know how many people during sex have had a heart attack? During a fight have had a heart attack. I had a principal who broke up a fight, caught a heart attack, almost died. Both morons that were fighting caught charges because the principal was trying to break, fat ass. He had no business breaking up even a fight at Shoney's or any buffet. He tried to break up the fight, caught a fucking heart attack, almost fucking died, and then we're gonna, excuse my French, guys, and they wanted to press charges. That's the other thing you got to be careful of, right? You never lie. So digression to your, always tell them, yes, you train, because they're gonna find it out, and they will stump you by not asking you direct questions. And now once they kill your credibility, you're screwed. You get caught lying once, every question thereafter. So were you telling the truth now or the first time when you lied to? And you've seen it, man. They will nail you to the cross the first time you get caught lying. Do you train in martial arts? Yes, sir, I do. X amount of days a week. I train in close quarter defense tactics, a system that is court defense. That's not what I asked you. Do you train in the martial arts? I'm trying to answer your question. It's just yes or no. Yes, sir. And then every time they say something that says, you just elongate it. They're going to give you at least 2 chances, just like yellow cards in soccer. Because when people say, the jury will, whatever they say, not, or disregard that. They already heard it, bro. Doesn't matter. They're going to be like, and all it takes is reasonable doubt, right? When you're the defendant, you don't have to, prove it beyond the preponderance of the evidence. No, you cause reasonable doubt. Bye, bitches. You're out. You're done. And it doesn't take much, bro. But you got to know what to say. You got to know what you're going to do. And when you do it, you explain it fully. We're taught this thing, Your Honor, called run the table. Seems freaking harmless enough. If you're in a neighborhood, say hello, right? Just look at the little nuggets of wordage and verbiage they have for Krav Maga. That shit alone, they're going to look at this, ooh, it's an Israeli defense system. You go, it's made for special forces, killing. You're like, They don't think of this shit. So you go there, and since you're not taught, because everything you're taught is about beat him up, wrap him up, what usually those guys say is, I had the right to whoop his ass. I had the right to break 6 of his bones. They're going to do the wrong thing and then say the wrong thing. That is a damn guarantee. They do it all the time. I know because I've watched how they teach. Nothing like what I do. I've watched what they say. Nothing like what I say. Because they have no idea what they're saying. They go to these weekend courses, pay a bunch of money, get this pretty certificate. They got a beautiful curriculum. They go to the letter. This is what every school looks the same. It looks like those little stick-on tattoos that little kids get so they can look cool. Every kid that has the same little Mickey Mouse looks exactly the same, right on the same spot. Bop, bop, bop.
Cookie cutter.
Yeah. And that's what this stuff is. And life is not cookie cutter, bro. So the second, damn, we've been rocking and rolling today. I'm doing absolutely marvelousness. But you see what I'm trying to say? Right. So Saturday, with all the different things that we did, right? When I was telling someone, like, get on your back real quick, because this one's so important. If you find yourself on your back, right, and it could happen through the woods or anywhere, and somebody just grabbed, right, they smacked you, you land on the ground. Once they do this to you, you know how much of a shit show you're in? This is a bad spot. So they drag you, let's say 5 feet behind me, just a bunch of really sharp rocks. And I just drag you. Man, your spine's going to get busted open. All you got to do is, go ahead and go back there a little bit because I don't want to go flying into that door. All I want you to do is, I'm sure you know how to do a crunch, right? You're going to fire your knees in. Don't think about anything else. All you're thinking about is just knees to chest as fast as you can. Just knees to chest. You're not thinking about your hands. You're not thinking about even using your hips. Just whip your knees back in towards your chest. Ready? See what I mean? Okay? Say, right? Now, go back a little bit again. Wait till I start dragging you. And first, go back a little more, a little more, a little more, a little more. Well, bro, you can get up a little bit. Now you're going to sweep the floor. You're going to get home all dirty. You're going to get home all dirty, right? So now, let me take 2 strides and then do it. Ready? 1, 2. Right?
Oh, wow.
Okay? Now, we're going to go back this way so we can, right? Now you're going to wait for me to go 3 strides and just do the same thing, but just deep breath and just suck your knees in. There's no, now, put your hand up. Can you reach my eye? Now if you sit up a little bit. Boom, right? So now what you're going to do is go past my eyes. We're going to go back this way, And as I drag you, you're going to do that. You're going to do the full crunch. Knees in, and you're going to heave up. Knees in, and you're going to heave up, and just like you're going to do, those lunges like that. Ready? Go. See what I mean? There's just no way. Do it again. Crush them in. I'm screwed, bro. You're just going to go like Superman. Now, it doesn't matter what you're on, right? Remember how this is the same exact concept. That's why I tell you guys, it's all, if I'm a noodle, so get back down there, right? I'm not a very strong guy. Just put one hand out here in case I fly towards you so you can keep me from, so just go ahead and pull me in. See? Now, do it again. I'm a noodle. See? I fall. Now, I'm going to be strong. Do it again. See? Either way. So if I'm strong, you come to me. If I'm a wimp, I go to you. So the same thing we did with this. I can't pull this out of here, so what do? I move myself to it. If I can pull this, I pull it to me. So it doesn't matter. People are always would say, what if he's 6'6", 200 pounds, and he bench presses 37 times his weight? Well, first of all, it's an impossibility. You're an idiot that does, what is that called, LARPing? Those people that go to the parks, so I think it's called live action, what is it called? When they reenact shit, it's like Dungeons and Dragons. I think it's called LARP. Joe will put it on there for me, some of these smart guys. It's called LARP. It's, RP is for role playing. Live, maybe it's live action role playing, something like that, LARP, live action role playing. So, again, short of that, and nothing wrong with it, I hear it's fun as shit. But you're on the ground, I'm dragging you, and you're just gonna drive in. Now when you start doing them both, this is the first time you've ever done it. You practice that 4 or 5 times, and you start doing it like you do your crunches, and you just go, wham, because there's no way that I'm not gonna do this. Then it's a matter of you just practice getting up as high as you can, as high as you can. You bring your knees in a little bit less, because if they're in obviously too tight, you can't reach, and you get the feel for it. And it won't take you months or years. But it's the same thing. If I grab you to pull you, right? Most people don't grab you like this, right? They're going to go. There's always that macho, that chin up. Man, I grab you, just drive forward, because you know I'm not going to grab you and push you. I got to grab you, right? Boom! You just smashed the shit out of me. But no hesitation, right? That's not striking first. He struck first. That's the assault. Drive your head in. You don't wait. Hey, I do this. Boom, there you go. Even faster. You boom, done, done. I'm going to go put my hands on you and you got to see, right? You just, but the demeanor, don't give the just, boom, like you're falling in. Just like calm, because you always want to be calm. When you grab, boom, nice and calm. And this guy's doing this and you just fall into a headbutt. What were you supposed to do? Again, even when you go to court. No, this guy was pissed off. Chances are 9 out of 10 there's going to be some video. And he did this, and you can zoom in and be like, you can see what he had said, and then he goes towards you. And you had just, same demeanor as he comes in, bam! That's it. You don't put a mad face, you don't tense up, boom, right in, and then shove him back. Like I said, that's why you always want to be calm. His job is to piss you off, to rattle your cage. Do you think that any of these press conferences, these guys really mean what they're saying? You think McGregor means half the shit he says? Tyson meant half the shit he said? Tyson can't remember half the shit he said. You know what I'm saying? But it's to get under the guy's skin. Sells fights, sells tickets. Saturday night, Thunderdome, I'm going to snap you in half. Think about it. I've never seen somebody get snapped in half. Ever. Right? And this guy was snapping people in half. Every WrestleMania, he was going to do the same thing to some other jackwagon. That's what you do to sell tickets, right? He's mad, he's pissed. He's, okay, be pissed all you want. Like we were talking about earlier, I'm not doing this anymore. You want to fight by yourself. I ain't got time for this shit.
Exactly.
I got other shit I got to do.
Exactly. Hey, you remember that.
I got other things and other people I got to do.
We're not going there.
We're not going there. And like I said, you want to fight, you can fight by yourself. Fight with the wall, fight with the mirror. I'm walking out the door. You better come back here. That's how these guys end up with domestic violence and all this other stuff. I see that all the time, man. No, I'm not getting drawn into your bullshit. Whether you're my wife, my mother, my dad, my boss, my business partner, you just don't do it. And the second I can put my hands on you, you can put yours on me. So I got to understand that too. You're not just going to sit there and let me thumb you and punch you. And that's why I'm telling these guys that they see these 30 or 40 things, But we're still in the crawling stage. If I can get you guys out in America and everywhere else, TV land, wherever you're at, out of all your bad habits, out of still calling me, because it still happens to this day. They send them to me. Sir, look what I saw. What do you think? Joe has never done that. And now that he's been with me 18 years, even less. Because he knows me. And he knows that when he sees it, exactly what I would say. This guy's a jackass. This guy would get his ass kicked at a kindergarten party. This guy couldn't beat up freaking Chucky, whatever the Chuck E. Cheese mouse is. I don't even know. What's the mouse's name from Chuck E. Cheese? Is it Chucky? Yeah. Chucky the mouse? Doesn't even sound right. I thought Chuck E. Cheese was a place with the mouse or something else. Anyway, Chucky. So Mousy, Chucky, right? They ain't winning there. So once you guys can change that mindset and get out of the crawling stage, we can get to the intermediate and then the heavy duty stuff. And that's when the stuff comes in to where we're taking the equipment, do a seminar based on that whole thing. Don't ask any dumbass questions, just flow and go. I think that's going to be the next one. We're going to do it in the winter when people are all stuck at home, especially like I got my Washington guys and stuff, New York, a lot of places it gets cold, maybe like in freaking February. So what is it now, September? October, November, December, January, February. Yeah, 5 months. January or February, where it's cold as shit, you can stay home, watch the webinar. And we'll suit up and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. That when I elbow you, you know, my next thing has to be something like this so I can reach out, because even if you're going out over there, no matter where over there you are, boom, there's your next shot. Boom, then I'm going to use my knee, then I'm going to use my leg, then I'm going to step. That's why you always want to step onto something. And then I keep walking. So I'm going to go to the next thing. But when I'm doing this here like this and I keep doing this, yeah, that's cool. But in reality, it's not going to happen like that unless I have you against the wall. But again, in reality, the kids that are 9 and 10 years old walk like the second day that they stopped crawling, you know? They got crawling. The second day from not crawling, kids are doing this. Day 10 or 15, and they're still kind of Frankensteining it. But kids don't go from crawling to just be like, ah, shit, all right, cool, this is nice. Hey, Mom, I'm going to go to the fridge, right? Or they say, ba, ma, mama, baba, right? And then the next day, Mom, intellectually speaking, there's a situation that has erroneously been passed around. No, mother, they go from ba to grandpa finally a year and a half later when you tell them it's not ba, it's grandpa. But since you couldn't say that, we just let you say ba. But that's how many bas now have 20-year-olds calling them ba. My kids, my grandkids, as soon as they're smart enough, will be like, okay, check this out. You were a dumb little shit, which was to be expected. You were 10 months old. But it's grandpa. It's not Meemaw, it's not Papa, it's not Papa, it's Grandpa. Or just call me by my goddamn name. That's my name. I got a name. Call me Pedro. I don't mind. Oh, that's disrespectful. No, it's my damn name. Nowhere on anything that I own does it say Ba, Grandpa, Peepaw, Pawpaw, Paw. Right? Exactly. The reason they do it is because they don't know any better. And it's cute. I don't think it's cute that you're 27. Hey, Ba, how's everything? It sucks, bro. You're 27 now, right? You should know better than to call me Ba, which means if you're 27, I'm about 90. How do you think things... See, as we speak, I just shit myself, bro. That's how things are going. Smell that? I just pooped, all right? So call me Pedro, A, and call me an orderly, B, because I shit myself. Ba, shit his pants. Chop, chop. Before I call you something, see what I'm saying? People just don't... Hey, and again, take it as you wish. I love you guys. We'll do it again on Thursday. I hope everybody enjoyed Saturday. Thank you for you guys that were watching. Thank all my guys that came here. Like always, Tony, thank you. Please keep Rod in your prayers for me. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Washington. Thank you, Puerto Rico. So thank you, Ecuador. Thank you, Santo Domingo. I'll be in Puerto Rico on Friday. 2 seminars there, Saturday and Sunday. Panama. There was an emergency came up out there. Panama is probably canceled. I'm 99% sure. Who knows, because I do crazy things. But there's an emergency going on, a lot of situations going on there. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.